Hey everyone, welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your sources and, well, pull out the key stuff so you get the insights fast.
Exactly. And today we're digging into a really interesting source. It's a YouTube transcript.
Yeah, from the Learn English podcast channel, the title is It's Okay to Make Mistakes.
Right. And you might think, okay, I know this. But honestly, there are some genuinely powerful ideas in here
Yeah,
about how we look at errors.
for sure. So our mission for you today is basically to grab some really practical takeaways.
Yeah, things you can actually use.
Yes.
How to learn from those inevitable slip-ups, maybe be a bit kinder to yourself about imperfections,
Uh-huh.
and build up that resilience, that bounce-back ability.
All without getting totally overwhelmed by info. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So the Learn English podcast, it kicks off by tackling something we probably all recognize.
Oh, yeah, that constant pressure.
Right. This feeling that you need to have it all figured out, the perfect body, the amazing job,
Yeah.
the perfect life.
It's everywhere, isn't it? Social media, maybe even just expectations we put on ourselves.
Totally. And the source makes a great point. This whole idea of perfect is just not real.
It's an illusion.
Yeah.
And chasing it, well, that just seems to lead to a lot of worry and, frankly, unhappiness.
So what's the alternative they suggest?
Well, instead of striving for this, like, impossible standard,
Yeah.
the idea is to shift focus.
Yeah.
We actually work on accepting ourselves, flaws and all.
Which sounds simple, but it's kind of a big shift in thinking, isn't it?
It really is. Finding strength and acknowledging, imperfection is just part of being human.
Yeah, and that connects directly to the next big theme, how we think about mistakes.
Often seen as failures.
Right.
Big red flags.
Exactly. But the podcast argues pretty compellingly, I think, that they're actually vital for learning.
Absolutely essential. Think about learning anything new, like a language or an instrument.
Oh, definitely.
You're going to make mistakes at the start, aren't you? Loads of them, probably.
Right. And those aren't failures, are they? They're feedback.
Precisely. They show you what isn't working, so you can understand better and adjust.
So approaching mistakes with curiosity, not shame.
That's the key. They become these amazing teachers. The transcript even frames them as proof you're trying something new, stepping outside your comfort zone.
Something that really jumped out at me was this idea about individuality.
Ah, yes. That
Uh-huh.
imperfections make us unique.
Yeah. Like, imagine a world where everyone was actually perfect, never made a wrong move.
It sounds, well, incredibly dull, honestly.
All right. It's our quirks, our stumbles, the things that aren't quite perfect that actually make us interesting. Make us us.
That's such a good point. They add texture, depth. They're not liabilities.
Okay, so this isn't just theory. The Learn English podcast gives some really solid practical steps for, actually doing this, embracing mistakes.
The first one is about acceptance and growth. Meaning, instead of just feeling awful when you mess up.
Which is easy to do.
Oh, yeah. It's about acknowledging it. Okay, that happened, learning from it, and then actively, consciously deciding to grow from that experience.
That active part feels really important. It's not passive.
Exactly. Puts you back in the driver's seat. And that links right into reframing failure.
So not seeing it as this, dead end.
Right. See it more as an informative detour, a learning opportunity.
Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's often part of the path to success.
Well put. And the transcript encourages digging into the why. Why didn't it work out?
Getting specific.
Yeah. What went wrong? Did I need more practice? Did I miss a step? Understanding the reason gives you something concrete to work with.
Okay, so you analyze the why, then what?
Then you made a plan.
Yeah.
Action planning. Set some specific goals to tackle those weak spots you identified.
Makes sense. Turn the insight into action.
And the source highlights breaking things down. Small, manageable steps. Check your progress. It turns that feeling of failure into a structured way forward.
It's interesting, too. Sometimes failures show us weaknesses we didn't even know we had.
Oh, definitely. That self-awareness, as the transcript calls it, is actually a huge benefit. You can't fix something if you don't realize it's an issue.
True. And to keep going, they mentioned celebrating small wins.
Yes. Positive reinforcement. Give yourself credit for applying what you learned, for making progress, however small. It keeps the motivation up.
That positive acknowledgement, it ties into the next big idea, doesn't it? Self-compassion.
Crucial. Being kind to yourself when you inevitably make mistakes.
We can be so hard on ourselves, can't we?
Incredibly. That inner critic just goes wild sometimes. But the podcast really advises against that harsh self-judgment.
Because it's not helpful.
It's counterproductive, it hinders improvement, it can make you feel hopeless, like why even bother trying again?
So instead of beating yourself up,
Try talking to yourself like you'd talk to a friend in the same boat, with understanding, with encouragement.
reframing that negative self-talk instead of, I'm useless, maybe, okay, I'm still learning this.
Exactly that. That simple shift can make a massive difference to your resilience and your willingness to keep trying.
But what if you're really stuck? Even with self-compassion.
That's where asking for help comes in, seeking support.
And the source makes a great point here. It's not weakness.
Absolutely not. It's a sign of strength. It shows you want to improve, you want to learn. Well, people you trust who might have relevant experience. Mentors, teachers, maybe friends who've been through something similar.
And how do you approach that?
The advice is to be clear about what happened, what the mistake was, and importantly, be open to different perspectives and solutions. You might be surprised what insights others offer.
Okay, so you've accepted it, learned, maybe got some help. What next? The transcript talks about moving forward, right? Building resilience.
Yeah, you can't stay stuck dwelling on past mistakes. That just holds you back.
It's easy to get bogged down, though.
It is. But growth means expecting obstacles, being ready to adapt when things don't go smoothly.
And believing in yourself.
Hugely important. Remembering times you did overcome challenges. That builds confidence for the next hurdle. Essentially, leave the mistake in the past and focus forward.
Now, there's another angle, too, when our mistakes affect other people.
Oh, yes, the power of apology.
The source emphasizes the courage it takes, but also the impact of just saying, I'm sorry.
It can be incredibly healing for relationships, allows everyone to move on. And as the transcript notes, most people are willing to accept a genuine, sincere apology.
And after apologizing to others, there's forgiving yourself.
Equally important, yes. Once you've made amends, holding on to guilt doesn't really help anyone, least of all you.
It's unproductive.
Totally. Self-forgiveness is key to actually moving forward. Again, treat yourself with the same compassion you'd give a friend. Let go of that resentment, that negative weight.
So all these things, acceptance, learning, self-compassion, support, apology, forgiveness, they all build up to resilience.
Exactly. That ability to recover from setbacks, bounce back.
How does the source define resilient people in this context?
It says resilient individuals tend to see mistakes as lessons, not as proof of failure.
So it's a mindset thing again?
Largely, yes.
Hmm.
They allow themselves to feel disappointed. Sure, that's natural. But then they refocus. They make a plan. They act.
With patience and determination.
Breaking goals down, seeking support when needed, using positive self-talk. I can figure this out instead of I'll never get
It's
this.
celebrating progress.
Even small steps.
Yeah.
It reinforces that you are moving forward, building momentum. It's about encouragement, not criticism.
Wow. Okay. So piecing this all together from the Learn English podcast source, it really paints a different picture of mistakes.
Doesn't it? Not roadblocks, but integral parts of the journey. Learning, growing, becoming who we are.
It boils down to self-acceptance, being kind to yourself, reaching out for help, and building that resilience muscle.
It's about fundamentally reframing that relationship, moving away from fear and towards curiosity and acceptance, seeing mistakes as valuable information.
Stepping stones, really.
Exactly. Stepping stones to understanding yourself and the world better.
So here's a final thought for you to mull over based on this deep dive. Think about one mistake you've made recently. Maybe big, maybe small. Instead of focusing on the negative feelings around it, how could you reframe it? What did you actually learn, or what could you learn from it?
And tied to that.
Yeah, what's one small, concrete act of self-compassion you can offer yourself today, right now?
Something to really consider.
Definitely. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.